Hi, my name is Ahava Liebtag. I'm the president of AHA Media Group. We're a content strategy and content marketing consultancy located right outside of Washington, D.C., and we specialize in creating content and content strategies for healthcare clients. Today, we're going to look at what patients want from healthcare content, particularly research that my team and I did on specific words that we tend to use in healthcare marketing. When we explain content to clients, we talk about content being a conversation. And in every conversation, we want to be clear about to whom it is that we're speaking and who it is that we are as a brand. Typically, healthcare brands fall back on these words: multidisciplinary, complex, advanced, state-of-the-art, and world-class. However, many patients feel like these are zombie healthcare marketing words and don't necessarily communicate to them the value of what going to this healthcare brand will mean for them and their family's care. So what we wanted to do was find out if we're giving patients the conversations that they want. The first thing that we did was we looked at the top 50 cancer websites in the United States, and we took the U.S. News and World Report rankings, and we went to each of the cancer institutes of these particular organizations. So we were looking at the homepage of their websites to see what conversations they were having with patients. So we looked at the word advanced. Of 50 cancer websites on their homepages, how many were using this word? And it turned out to be 43. We looked at ranked by U.S. News and World Report. 21 out of the 50 cancer homepages used this, even though all 50 were ranked by U.S. News and World Report. Then we looked at the word compassionate. Of 50 hospitals, 17 were using this word. Multidisciplinary, 14. World class, 9. Cutting edge, 5. And patient focused, 1. So 1 out of 50 hospitals ranked by U.S. News and World Report used the words patient-focused on the homepage of their Cancer Institute's website. So this was really fascinating to us, looking at the vocabulary that we use as healthcare marketers. However, we wanted to find out, what do patients really want to hear? What are the conversations and content that your target audiences are really looking for? And so we surveyed 200 respondents. We had the survey open for 6 weeks on SurveyMonkey, and we sent out the link through emails, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And we asked, what's your gender? So you can see 66% were female, 34% were male. The age ranged, 30% were 18 to 29, 34% were 30 to 39, 22% were 40 to 49, 8% were 50 to 59, 6% were 60 to 69, and there was no respondents in the 70 to 80 age group category. We wanted to know what education these respondents were. 6% had finished high school, 41% finished college, and 54% had finished graduate school, so a very educated group. We also wanted to know where they get content from. So how do they typically access these healthcare conversations? 95% own a smartphone, 68% have a tablet, 91% have a laptop computer, and only 53% have a desktop computer or use it to access content. We also wanted to know what the emotional response was of these respondents, because we were thinking that maybe the people who answered a healthcare content survey were primed for healthcare conversations. However, it was pretty evenly split. 52% had had a loved one that had been diagnosed with a life-threatening condition, and 48% had not. So it's a pretty even experience in terms of being primed for healthcare conversations. Now we wanted to get at these words, these healthcare zombie marketing words. So if you saw any of the following words while reading content on a hospital's website, which would help persuade you to make an appointment there? And they could only answer 3. They could only mark 3 down. So we asked them those same words that I showed you earlier that we surveyed on the cancer websites of their homepages to see if they were using these words in these healthcare conversations. So remember, 9 of the 50 cancer websites use the word world class. 21% of patients said that 21% of the respondents to the survey said that this would convince them to choose the hospital. Advanced, 43 used the word advanced. 26% of patients said that that would indicate to them that this would be a hospital they would want to go to. Multidisciplinary. 14 hospitals use this word on their Cancer Institute homepage. 28% of respondents said that that would make a difference to choosing that hospital. Cutting edge, 5. 21% of respondents said that that would make a difference to them. Compassionate, 17 hospitals use that word. 47% of patients said that that would make a difference to them. Ranked by U.S. News & World Report, 21 hospitals used that as a marketing criteria. 43% of patients said that that would affect their choices. And patient-focused, 1 hospital used that on their cancer homepage. 70% of patients want to hear that when they're having a conversation about their healthcare choices. So we see that maybe we are not having empathy when we're creating these conversations with our target audiences because we're not giving them the conversations that they want to have. The words they want to see are not necessarily the words that we're using. So how do we ensure empathetic user experiences? And the answer to that is that we always have to align our content with our business objectives as well as supporting users in accomplishing tasks. So you want to think about your business goals. What are we trying to achieve overall, either at the enterprise or with this specific service line? And then what are the user tasks? Make a list of all the different things that a user has to do on your website. Look up a doctor, make an appointment, research a condition or a treatment, and then try to get those as closely aligned as possible. When you hit that sweet spot between aligning your content with your business goals and supporting your users in accomplishing their tasks, you have hit that empathetic content experience because you're having the conversation that you want to be having and the conversation that they want to be having. So why should we bother with content, or good content as it were? Well, back to the survey, we asked people, in your last 3 visits to a doctor, did he or she ever hand you printed information about your condition or diagnosis? 57% said yes, 43% said no. So we did not ask the question about whether or not your doctor indicated to you that you should go research digitally or online what your condition was or what the treatments were. But certainly doctors are not taking advantage of the point of service in handing people more information so that they can learn more about their treatments. And we know that an educated patient is probably going to be an easier patient in terms of compliance and in terms of ensuring the best possible outcome. So then we asked them, well, if you got this printed information or you didn't get it, did you research more about your diagnosis on the web after the appointment? And an overwhelming 77% said yes, 23% said no. So we know that people are hungry for information, and that means that if you're responsible for creating content in your organization, you need to be thinking about your target audiences and how you can create content that aligns with your brand's business objectives, but also supports your patients and families in accomplishing the tasks that they need to get done on your digital properties and with your content. And when you do that, you are ensuring that you're creating these empathetic healthcare experiences. If you're hungry for more information, please do sign up for our Content Ahas for Healthcare newsletter. It comes out every 2 weeks at ahamediagroup.com. You can check out our blog. We blog about healthcare matters about twice a month. And you certainly can follow me on Twitter. I'm at AhavaL. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or contact me. Thank you so much. I hope you've learned more about how to create great healthcare content for your patients.